Although you do need to be visible to develop a business, there are sometimes very legitimate reasons that you don't want to be found by people who aren't clients. This is Mark Silver with Heart of Business, and I was working with someone in our learning community who had just this kind of situation where they were no contact with their family, and it had been a few years, and the last time they had tried to be visible with their business, there was a contact, and it was really unpleasant and difficult and took a long time to recover from. And so we talked about it, and the suggestion that we came up will only work if the people you don't want to be found by are very geographically distant, and you don't feel in physical danger if they find you, because that's a whole nother thing. And my heart goes out to folks in that situation. So messed up. But the principle behind the suggestion I'm going to offer is that anytime there's a difficult situation, emotional content, trauma triggering, these kinds of things, you're going to want to think ahead and plan it out so you don't have to make decisions in the moment that it happens. This is true with refunds and cancellations that customers might be asking for. It's true for certain aspects of the sales conversation, different things that you may just want to think through ahead of time and have a policy around so that you can act in a timely manner and not have to process through everything and be completely healed before you give a response. And so the suggestion I had made was that you think through how you want to deal with it, since there's a good chance that it could happen. Identify a support person that you can call, someone who has agreed to be on call if this ever happens, and they know the backstory and the history, so you don't have to explain anything. You can just say and they're there. A second thing is, what is the decision you're going to do? Are you going to print out the email and burn it and then delete it, or the voicemail or what have you? And I don't know, get a voicemail transcribed and then print it out and burn it. Whatever the appropriate thing is. What are you going to do for self-care? Like, what are the other pieces that need to be put in place? So really sit down and think it through, and then actually put it on a card. Like, create an actual checklist that doesn't depend on you needing to access anything digital. And have it there. And then when it happens, you pull out the card and you follow the steps. And we were actually having a great time talking about this, with laughter and how freeing it felt to have that set up ahead of time. And the one other thing that I suggested is that any system that you put in place requires maintenance and cleanup and checking in with it, making sure it's still working. And so I suggested that she put an alarm in her calendar, repeatable every 6 months or every year, to pull out the card, to look at it, and make sure it's up to date. Does she have her friend's most up-to-date contact information, or does she want to replace it with somebody else? Has the relationship changed in some way that it requires a different kind of response than was originally on there? Just kind of checking it over. Usually, nothing's going to change. You pull it out, you look at it for 2 minutes, you put it back. But these kinds of systems that take the need to think clearly when there's a lot of emotional content and it's really hard can be such a support. Because then after you have that initial response, then you can take it to therapy, you can process it through, you can do healing work. But it should not require for you to be completely healed and in an enlightened state to be able to make your business visible. Just because you have people that were in your life that you don't want to have contact with. Anyway, I hope this has been helpful. let me know if you have other strategies or thoughts about how to approach this. And I just hope that you're taking great tender care of yourself. Peace.